So anyway, so we've established the beliefs of Scientologists, but like I said before, that's not really up for question. It's more the practices and these reports that are coming out about abuses. Would you like to speak to that?
The big electron.
The abuses. Well, what's the flavour of the day? I mean, you were talking about psychiatry before, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, there's this Scientology operates with with front groups. It's one thing. It's a very common thing they do because the word Scientology just doesn't really click positively with a lot of people. So one example of their front groups is the Citizens Commission of Human Rights, or also known as the CCHR.
Yep.
And they're quite prevalent in Australia. It's what it is it's an anti-psychiatry front group.
Right.
And CCHR publications vilify psychiatrists, calling them doctors of death. And they made this publication, The Men Behind Hitler.
Oh.
And it claims that Hitler's philosophy and his concept of man in general was shaped to a decisive degree by psychiatry. And while the CCHR publicly claims to be working to stop psychiatric abuses, it reflects the Scientology teaching that all psychiatric treatment is abusive. And they actually had this exhibit called Psychiatry and Industry of Death. Have you heard of this one?
No, I don't think so, no.
There was this... It's something they have in America quite often. There's actually a permanent exhibit over in Hollywood, but recently there was an exhibit over in Australia. It was actually along which street was it? It was near Central Station.
Yeah.
And it basically you walk around this exhibit and it has all these presentations on plasma screens, and in true Scientology-style dramatic flair, it accuses psychiatry of being responsible for 9/11 and the school shootings. That they even had the cheek to, like I said before, say that psychiatry was responsible for the Holocaust and Hitler and all that.
What?
Yeah. It's all on their website. Or you could try Wikipedia-ing it.
Yeah.
But I would recommend checking out their website, of course, to get their side of the story, because a lot of the stuff they actually raise makes them, it just works negatively for them. They sound like crackpots.
Yeah. And so now that you've explained the belief system, I'm starting to understand why that they're so against psychiatry, and that's because the psychiatrists did something in that planet. Is that what you said? Something before? That's the deeper story. Yeah. Apparently, Lord Xenu got the help of psychiatrists to carry out his master genocidal plan. Yeah.
But more fundamentally, the reason why Scientology is so anti-psychiatry is because when Dianetics was originally written, L. Ron Hubbard, the creator of Scientology, tried to get it passed off as an alternative therapy, but it was debunked almost immediately.
Yeah.
And so as a result, L. Ron Hubbard developed this intense hatred towards psychiatrists and the profession.
Yeah.
So it mainly comes down to to L. Ron Hubbard's opinion on psychiatry, and he just applied it to his religion.
Yep. And he was speaking a bit about Dianetics. Like, one thing he said is that any person on the street can do what a psychiatrist does. Like, a psychiatrist might have to study for, I can't remember how long it is, like it's 12 years or something like that, he said. And I've forgotten what the time is myself. It's something like that. And that the average person in the street has that knowledge at their disposal, I assume, particularly after they've read Dianetics.
Well, that's his opinion, I guess. I wouldn't agree with it, but I mean, he's obviously not a psychiatrist. So it's a bit cheeky to assume that. I think if someone was to make that call, they should be someone who's not part of an organisation that's so angrily opposed to psychiatry, and it's not really fair. They claim that psychiatrists are, doctors of death and are only there to make money. Well, he he doesn't address that psychiatrists are amongst the lowest paid medical professionals in the business. He completely avoids that.
Yep. Now, can move on to a few other things. One thing that comes up probably more than anything else is the many thousands of dollars people pay for auditing, which auditing basically means counselling, and there's a whole lot of auditing. I think that also includes like self-improvement courses.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of this. I've got one here, something about one person paid about $60,000 for auditing, and then another $50,000 for something else. So I'm just going through my computer here as I speak.
Purification rundown, perhaps?
Sorry?
Purification rundown, is that... I'm just guessing that one. That's a common
I'm not
one.
sure what it was, but what is that?
A Purif rundown.
Yes.
Have you heard there's another front group of theirs that's called Narconon?
Yes, I've heard of Narconon.
That, again, like the CCHR, that's very common in Australia. It used to be, and I'm not sure about it now.
It's a drug treatment centre, isn't it?
Sorry, what was that?
It's a drug addiction treatment centre.
Yeah. And what a purification rundown is, it's similar to what Narconon practices, and in fact, in many ways, it's identical. What the gist of it is to remove toxins from your body. That's what they claim, and they believe that through intensive exercising, having dangerous amounts of vitamins and ridiculously long saunas will expel toxins from your body.
Right.
And from memory, a few people actually practicing these, like members of these centres, have been found out to not have a medical licence. So
really?
That's quite serious if you're dealing with people's health, and you've got these unqualified people who are prescribing all these vitamin bombs, which are like over 100 times the recommended daily intake.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't name any instances, any examples of people who have gone through it. But a lot of people have felt very gypped by this, and that they claim that they've got like an 80% success rate or something around that number. But a study recently in a European country, it might have been, I can't remember the country exactly, but they found that the actual success rate was more close to around 12%.
Oh, yes.
It's typical Scientology positive spinning.
Yeah.